In this video, we'll unpack what unresolved trauma actually is, how it shapes your nervous system and everyday behavior, and how simple mindful awareness is the first step to healing. First, trauma isn't the event, it's the disconnection that follows. We often think about trauma as about what happened to us, an accident, a betrayal, a loss, or abuse. But the event itself isn't what defines trauma. Trauma is what happens inside of us as a result of what happened outside of us. It's the disconnection from ourselves that happens when we feel too overwhelmed, too powerless, or too unsafe to process what's going on. Now, this can happen from big life-altering events, which I call big T traumas, that divide our lives into before and after, like before the accident or after the divorce. Or it can occur from little t traumas, small everyday interactions or relationships that cause us to internalize limiting beliefs about who we really are. Sometimes I like to say trauma happens the moment we decide to cut ourselves off from our hearts, from our true selves, in that unconscious effort to self-protect. That disconnection might look like going numb, overthinking everything, trusting no one, people-pleasing to stay safe, or staying constantly busy so we never have to really feel anything. Now, you'll notice these patterns aren't reserved for people who are weird or have issues. They're almost universal. Neither are they character flaws. They're actually very intelligent adaptations your body made to help you survive. In fact, in my view, almost every breathing human is walking around with some level of unresolved trauma in one way or another. Welcome to the human condition. Now, this doesn't mean we're all victims and we should throw ourselves a pity party. But it does mean that these small, somewhat normal, everyday disconnects are opportunities to awaken to a deeper dimension of life. They're like a trailhead that's pointing us to the possibility of more healing and wholeness than what we're currently experiencing in our lives. Point number 2, the body remembers even when the mind forgets. Unresolved trauma lives in the nervous system, so your body is your best anchor to understand what's still hooked in you. That's because your body is a truth teller. It's like a direct reflection of what's happening in your mind and nervous system, so it's our most reliable source of information, much more reliable than the stories our mind is telling us. When we experience something dysregulating enough that our brain processes it as a trauma, it stores it in a very specific way. The brain flips us into our limbic system, our freeze, fight, flight response, and our rational thinking mind goes offline. Now, there's actually a lot of intelligence in this response because it's helped us survive as a species for thousands and thousands of years. The trauma response evolved so that our caveman predecessors could see a lion come into camp and be jolted into a physical response that would get them away from the lion without them having to think it through, because heaven knows they'd be dinner by that time. When something reminds us of a past wound, our body can react as if that danger is happening again. It's what we call a trigger, because there's something about what's happening that is wired back into the trauma folder of our brain, and the brain is responding from that same limbic freeze, fight, flight place automatically. That's why you feel your stomach drop, your chest tighten, or your heart race in situations that don't seem logical. Or you might shut down automatically as soon as a conversation takes a familiar turn. The body is saying, I've been here before and we're not safe. Being able to recognize and name unresolved trauma is huge, because once we realize we're in a trauma response, we can know better how to respond. Instead of trying to argue our point or make logical sense of what's happening, all we have to do is become aware that we are in a trauma reaction, and we only have one job to do: find safety, down regulate. No matter how much training or awareness we have, if we're in an active trauma response, we are going to react rather than respond, because trauma is connected to safety. And we're going to have this automatic reaction that is in some way trying to unconsciously grasp at regaining a sense of safety. Depending on how you're wired, you're likely to react in one of 4 ways: freeze, fight, flight, or fawn. And over time, all of these reactions are going to create a lot of problems and confusion in your relationship. Over time, through the tools of mindfulness, we can learn to create a crucial pause. In this pause, we gain the tools and awareness to recognize these triggers, not as setbacks or that there's something wrong with us, but as signals for safety. Your body is asking for presence, not punishment. And this is why just thinking positive doesn't work. Healing trauma means creating safety in the body so that your mind and emotions can calm and settle. Point 3, how unresolved trauma shows up in daily life. Unresolved trauma doesn't stay locked in the past. It quietly influences your choices today. You might see it in repeating relationship dynamics that keep ending the same way. Chronic stress or burnout, even when everything's fine. Difficulty trusting others or letting love in, or a constant drive to prove your worth. These patterns can feel discouraging, but they're actually invitations. Each one points you back to something within you that's ready to be seen, held, and integrated. I want you to ask yourself, what are the disconnects I keep normalizing? Like, yeah, but everyone does that. Or, well, everybody has their stuff. And just consider, what is this disconnect trying to tell me? How much more connection or freedom would I be capable of if I were willing to get curious about what this is for me? Point 4, awareness is the beginning of healing. The first step in resolving trauma isn't to analyze it. It's to become aware of how it lives in you now in a very embodied way. That awareness might start with noticing where tension gathers in your body. When specifically do you tend to go into that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? How do you tend to shut down or escape? Awareness is powerful because you can't heal what you don't acknowledge. And once you see your patterns with compassion instead of judgment, you begin to reconnect to your capital S self, your higher self, the part of you that's always been whole beneath the pain. If you recognize yourself in any of this, I want you to know you're not broken. You're adaptive. You're human. You're just like me. And your body has been protecting you for a long time. The good news is protection isn't the same as peace. Healing happens when we learn to meet those protective parts with curiosity and compassion instead of fear and shame. If you'd like a simple way to start, I created a free resource called The Crucial Tool to Get Through Triggers and Tailspins. It's a grounding practice that helps you calm your nervous system when you feel overwhelmed, so you can begin reconnecting to the safety that already lives within you. This internal safety is the superpower you didn't even know you had. You can download this tool for free at beckymoeller.com. In the next video, we'll explore the cost of unresolved trauma, how it affects your health, your relationships, and your ability to fulfill your purpose. See you there.